Welcome to today's teleconference. Today we shall be discussing subject-specific editing with particular reference to editing magazines and newspapers. I am Sunena Kumar. I am Professor of English Editing and I am the coordinator of the PG Certificate in Copy Editing and Proofreading, of which this transmission is a part. Now, before we begin the discussion proper, as I always do, I shall revise some information regarding the program. The program code, as you know, is PG Certificate in Copy Editing and Proofreading, PGCCP, and the program has 16 credits. If you want to get a certificate of completion, you must earn 16 credits by studying the 4 courses which this program comprises. The 4 courses are MBPI 001, Introduction to Editing, MBPI 002, Language Editing and Manuscript Preparation, MBPI 003, Conventional Copy Editing and Proofreading, and MBPI 004, Electronic Copy Editing and Proofreading. The eligibility, as you know, is graduation, a knowledge of English, familiarity with word processing and computers. Earlier we had pegged the eligibility as graduation with English, but due to a lot of demand from learners all over the country, we have had this revised to graduation, but we expect you to have a knowledge of English as well, because this program is not intended to teach you English, and we expect you to have familiarity with computers and word processing, because the 4th course, which is Electronic Copy Editing and Proofreading, covers these areas. Now, the duration of this program is 6 months to 2 years, which means that you can complete it in a minimum of 6 months and a maximum of 2 years. The program fees, if you have already enrolled for it, you would know, is rupees 3,300. For those who have not enrolled, you have to pay 3,300, and this covers the examination fees as well. Now, this program, the PG Certificate in Copy Editing and Proofreading, is on offer twice a year, in January and in July. For those who have enrolled for the January session, the term and exams are held in June, and those who have enrolled in the July session, the term and examinations are held in December. Now, before we go into a discussion of subject-specific editing, I will just briefly go through the various types of publications that people encounter in everyday life. There are letters to the editor, then there are newspapers, of course, there are various kinds of magazines, there are scholarly journals. People who go to the internet frequently will discover that there are a variety of magazines, there are books, and of course there are a lot of self-publications which you can see on the internet as blogs. Now, we've come to the subject of the teleconference of today, which is editing magazines and newspapers. Before I go into the issue of editing, I would like to tell you that we have covered 2 areas in this course, viz. Newspaper publishing and magazine publishing. What is the difference between newspaper publishing and magazine publishing will depend on various issues. For example, there are many kinds of newspapers and there are many kinds of magazines. Now, how are newspapers differentiated? Newspapers can be differentiated in terms of the subjects that they cover. For example, there may be newspapers which are of general interest. Then there may be newspapers which specialize in business times, economic times. Then there can be newspapers which can be differentiated depending on the region they come from. And of course the content will naturally differ from region to region depending on what the readers are interested in. Then there are newspapers which differ from region to region. Nowadays, with the advances in communication and ICT, newspapers are published in several places at the same time. So for example, if a newspaper is published in Delhi and in Chennai simultaneously, the Delhi paper will have different local items and the Chennai newspaper will have different local items. Now newspapers can also be differentiated in terms of periodicity. What do I mean by periodicity? By periodicity I mean how frequently they come out. Most newspapers, of course, we associate with the morning newspaper, and it's well known that the morning cup of tea and the morning newspaper go together. But of course there are afternoon newspapers also. Then there are some evening newspapers, but there has been nothing so far that has completely replaced the morning newspaper. Now apart from the different kinds of newspapers that you would be encountering, magazines are also of many types. There are various ways of differentiating magazines. If you go to the internet, you have the address in front of you. There are 4 types of magazines. These magazines are general interest magazines, popular magazines, scholarly magazines, and sensational magazines. Of course, I do not need to explain to you what general interest magazines are. General interest magazines are those that can be read by the whole family, irrespective of the age of the readers, of the interest of the readers. So they carry a little bit of everything. They carry a little bit of news, a little bit of interpretation, a little bit of fashion, a bit of cookery, some fiction or some poetry, something about important personalities of the day. And the same goes for popular magazines. Then of course there are some scholarly magazines, which at the moment we will not be discussing. We will be discussing, and of course you will see the magazines that you get at the railway stations and airports, which are just meant to be read quickly, so they are very sensational and they will highlight everything, but we will not be covering those kind of magazines today. Now we've discussed what are the various kinds of newspapers and what are the various kinds of magazines. Obviously there is something that is different between a newspaper and a magazine. Because I have said that most newspapers come out every day, newspapers are also called dailies. So we will discuss the differences between dailies and magazines. When I was discussing newspapers, I said newspapers differ from paper to paper on the basis of their content and on the basis of their periodicity. Now the same we can say for magazines as well. So a newspaper will come out daily, a magazine may come out weekly, it may come out fortnightly, it may come out monthly, or it may be just episodic, it may come out from time to time, no fixed periodicity. Now what do I mean by shelf life? Shelf life of a daily differs from the shelf life of a magazine. A daily or a magazine is only so far useful as the next issue that comes out. So today's newspaper is stale by tomorrow morning, and today's magazine, if it's a weekly, is stale by next week or by the next fortnight or by the next month. Now there is something that you don't realize, that newspapers are very cheap. They might be ₹1 or ₹2 or something. Why is it that newspapers can be made so cheap when so much of ink, so much of paper, so many employees, so much of infrastructure, everything is put into it? Then how is it that newspapers are priced so cheaply? And the same magazines are priced so high. For example, a magazine could be easily ₹15 or ₹30, whereas a newspaper would be ₹1 or ₹2 or maybe ₹5 at the most. Now the reason for the difference in the pricing is that newspapers only recover the costs of their distribution. As much as it costs to distribute the newspaper is the price of the newspaper. Mostly the price of the newspaper comes out from its ad revenues. Whereas magazines try to recover the revenues from the price of the magazine. Of course, they also go in for advertisements, but it's not necessary that the thicker the magazine, the more expensive it is if it has lots of advertisement, and the same goes for newspapers. You will notice that the Saturday or the Sunday newspapers are extremely thick, and it is quite possible for you to read just the 4 or 5 pages that interest you, because a lot of them may be matrimonial ads, they may be property ads, they may be various vehicle ads, various kinds of classified ads. Now, since we have seen that dailies and magazines differ, is it possible that there is some kind of a common meeting ground between the two? Yes, it is. Because even dailies have Sunday editions, they have pullouts, which may be virtually magazines in themselves. And sometimes newspapers are copied by magazines as well. And another interesting feature that you must have noticed is that a lot of newspapers have TV channels. Because the faster the better, the faster the news is conveyed, the better. And then at the same time, the news also needs to be interpreted and analyzed and discussed, and the latest visuals or the updates on the news. So whatever the morning paper has covered would be covered in the TV channel as well. Now, since there are so many differences between magazines and newspapers, then obviously there should be a difference between editing magazines and editing newspapers. Yes, and another difference that there is in dailies and magazines, as I have briefly touched upon just now, is the nature of the treatment. Newspapers have to be brought out every day, irrespective of what time the news has come in, and it cannot sacrifice good for excellent. You just have to finish writing with it and get it done in time. In fact, you'll be quite interested to know that the Sunday paper is often ready by Thursday, and only the first 2 or 3 news pages are held back till the last minute. Whereas the magazine may be even ready earlier and on the newsstand. For example, the magazine may be dated 1st May to 15th May, and it may be on the newsstands by the 28th or the 29th of April. That is because they build in the distribution time. The magazine obviously has more time to go into depth, into analysis, and to go into details, to go into photographs, to illustrate, to discuss, to get people's opinions, whereas the newspaper, as I had earlier said, has to be finished by a certain time. The pages have to be locked up, the printing has to be done, they have to be distributed so that we can all get our morning newspaper by 6:30 or 7. And if a newspaper does not come in time, it is quite possible that the reader changes. Now, coming to editing newspapers proper. Now, in a newspaper, there are various kinds of persons who are working to bring out the newspaper. So we will just briefly talk of the structure of a newspaper first. Now, in a newspaper, briefly, there are 2 types of people working. One is the editorial department, and the other may be, for lack of a better word, called the support departments. The editorial department provides the editing of the text that has arrived, the matter that has arrived, and the support departments, which include the administration. It's very important that everything runs on time, the distribution, the sales, the accounts, and so on. But we are not going to cover all that. That is beyond the scope of this program, though we have briefly touched upon all this, because you know very well that if you are working in a certain organization, you must be aware of the roles and responsibilities of all the others, so that you can function together as a harmonious whole, rather than think that you are more important than anybody else and that your job needs to be prioritized over anybody else. Now, basically, the newspaper's editorial department has 2 sections. One is the section that puts together the news, and the other is the section that edits the news. It is very interesting to know that in a newspaper, the designations do not necessarily show you what the functions of the various persons are. For example, in a newspaper, the editor does not edit. The editor just discusses with everybody, gives his vision, decides what are the pages to be there, and he writes the editorial page or the editorial comments page. He does not edit as such. For the editorial department, there are many people. There are 3 people who are the associate editor, the deputy editor, and the joint editor. Basically, these 3 designations are more for the sake of giving some kind of an opening to the assistant editors. because they don't want to be characterized as assistant editors alone. So sometimes they're called associate editors, sometimes they're called deputy editors, and sometimes they are called joint editors. Now there is another kind of editor that a newspaper has. If there is an editor, if there is a newspaper that comes out in the 4 metros, for example, it comes out in Delhi, in Calcutta, in Chennai, in Hyderabad, and so on, then the readers over there may not be interested in the news from another city. So there will be a resident editor over there. The resident editor looks after the news of the city that he is based in. Apart from the resident editor, there is going to be a news editor. The news editor, as I have already said, would be editing the news, and he would have below him many reporters. The reporters could have staff reporters and stringers. Now what is meant by staff reporters and what is meant by stringers? Staff reporters are those who have been specially assigned the work to do, and they are probably on the payroll of the newspaper, whereas the stringers are those who are there and who are compensated only for their expenses. Now, for example, if suddenly there is an outbreak of some kind of violence in a small city in Gujarat, it is not necessary that, or in Jammu and Kashmir, or in the South India, it is not necessary that the newspaper has an office over there or that there is a reporter over there, but there will be somebody who is a stringer who will be contacted by the newspaper and who will immediately rush to the site of whatever event that has to be covered within 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and who will start sending back the information. These people are called stringers, and they only report to the chief reporter, who then goes on to put the news together. Now, apart from the chief reporter, there are chief sub-editors. What is meant by a chief sub-editor? A sub-editor is not really under anybody else. A sub-editor looks after the entire publication of the newspaper. The news editor or the chief sub-editor has 2 functions. The newspaper has to be put together, and this putting together is the job of the chief sub-editor. Isn't it interesting that the editor does not edit in a newspaper? The sub-editor edits and puts the newspaper together. He decides what is to go, where it is to go, how much of it is to go, and if there is some kind of a breaking news at the last minute, what is the item that has to be shifted, or how much can it be put together, what is the nature of the research to do, how many columns, does an item require 1 column, does an item require 2 columns, and so on. And this he will put together with the help of the team of the sub-editors who are under him. Now the sub-editors themselves, in case you are thinking of specializing in a newspaper, then you would need to be a specialist in some area. A lot of learners have been asking whether copy editing can lead on to something more. Certainly, because copy editing is going to be a very educative kind of a job, and therefore you may discover that you are interested in covering the business events, or you are interested in covering local events, or events that are society events, the so-called page 3 events that take place, or there may be somebody who knows a lot about international issues, particularly, for example, the West Asia peace process or the elections in USA and so on. So the chief editor will usually know who is the person to do it, and he will not allocate work to one sub-editor, irrespective of how good his English and editing may be. If he has not specialized in the news of that region, he will give it to the person who knows more, so that he can analyze, discuss, and give the news in the proper proportion, give some kind of a background if necessary. Because remember, newspaper, nowadays readers do not just want to get the news. For example, if you see today's morning newspaper, the class 12 results have come out. The newspaper does not give the results. The results are available on site, or the results are available through various technologies, or people can get them personally. What people would like to know is what is the breakup, who is the topper, who has got the highest marks, which school has done the best, who are the children who are variously disabled and their success stories. So there are various kinds of things that have to be put together, and another person may go and interview the head of CBSE, for example. Somebody may go and ask a child who has succeeded, who has got over some disability and who has done excellently, or maybe somebody who has got 100% marks, and this item cannot be obviously predicted in advance. So the chief sub-editor will probably allocate a couple of pages for this and have done the research. For example, what is the last year's cutoff percentages of a certain university for people who are going to look out for that, or yesterday's newspaper, in anticipation of today's CBSE results, knew that the children would be going immediately and looking for admissions, and therefore they gave a map of the various colleges in Delhi and how to reach them. Now all this kind of a thing can be done earlier, and the chief sub-editor will allocate the work to the sub-editors. Now what does the sub-editor do? The sub-editor in a newspaper, first of all, of course, he has to listen to what the chief sub-editor is saying, and he has to follow out his instructions. So that means that he gets the raw news, he gets the input from the various stringers or the correspondents or the reporters or whoever, and then he has to cut it and shape it, fit it. Maybe he has been allocated 15 lines for a particular news item. He has to decide how to edit, he has to make a précis or a summary, he has to look at the grammar, and at the same time he has to meet the deadline. So the sub-editor's job is very interesting, very exciting, and at the same time very responsible. He has to see, we have earlier been talking about content editing, he has to look out for libel, he has to see that he is not offending anybody's sensibilities, that he is not naming, for example, he is not naming victims of certain kinds of crimes, he is not committing his newspaper to get into any kind of legal problems. Then of course the sub-editor has to look after the style of the newspaper. Every newspaper has its own style. Some newspapers believe in a lot of adjectives, and some newspapers believe in minimum adjectives. Some newspapers capitalize government, capitalize state government. Some newspapers don't. There is a very interesting story that you must have read in your block, which is a course 2 block 3, in which the editor said that the only Pandit was Pandit Nehru. All the others were Mr. Brahmanand Shastri, Mr. Shrikant Mishra, and so on. Similarly, the editor had said, the editor of course being K. Rama Rao, the editor had said that there is one Maulana, which is Maulana Azad, and all the others are Mr. Now these are the kind of things that the sub-editor must know, and he has no time to go and look for it, so that he has to be constantly on his toes, he has to be preparing a word before I go further. Every time I say he only for the sake of fluency and convenience, I of course mean she at the same time. Now that means that the chief sub-editor, the editor and the sub-editors have all to look at the character of the communication package, which means how readable is it, how many photographs do you want, what is the kind of language you want, what is the kind of stress you want, how many words you want to allocate to a certain topic, and so on. Which means that the newspaper has to be prepared every day in the same recognizable fashion. It has to carry the same sections in terms of content. Now what do I mean by the same sections in terms of content? For example, everybody is used to their own newspapers irrespective of what the newspaper carries or which newspaper is covering a certain event better. If I am familiar with a certain newspaper, I want the same newspaper every day. Now why is that so? Because I want to know that if I am looking for the sports news, it will be on the third last page. And if my interest is sports news, I will go to the third last page. For example, if I am interested in fashion news and I know that fashion news is covered on page 3, the celebrity pages, the fashion designers and various people of the fashion fraternity are covered and photographed in page 3, then I will go straight to page 3. I, as a typical reader, am not interested in going and looking for various items. Then of course, newspapers will be having the news pages. They may be the first page or maybe even the second page if the event so warrants, like today's newspaper carries the details of the CBSE results on page 1 and on page 2 both. Then of course there will be the business pages. The business pages are increasingly becoming very important, because a lot of readers want to know what is the status of the market. They are investing in stocks and shares. They would like to be armed with the knowledge from their newspaper of which shares are rising, which shares are falling, how to invest and so on, and therefore the business pages in today's newspapers have become very important. Then apart from the business pages, there is the edit page. A lot of readers would like to go to the edit page first, because if a certain event has been covered, for example the issue of reservation, then they would like to know the pros and the cons of the reservation issue, and they hope that the editorial page will cover these issues from various perspectives, maybe a lead article by the editor. The editor, as I had already told you, does not edit in a newspaper. He looks after the editorial page and he writes the editorial, and of course he decides in consultation with the proprietor of the newspaper the policies of the newspaper. So if so much of time, so much of money, so many resources, the infrastructure, the buildings, the computers, the paper, the ink, the machinery, all this is being put into it, how does the newspaper break even? I had of course briefly touched upon this. The newspaper does not recover its costs from the price of the newspaper. It recovers its distribution costs alone. The rest of it covers from the advertising revenue that it gains. What else is covered in a newspaper that people would like to see? The weekend newspaper, for example, would cover properties. It would cover vehicles. It would cover matrimonials. And therefore, all these kind of things are revenue generating pages. And if you're not interested, then you do not read it, but the newspaper recovers its costs from these kind of things, and therefore these are to be carried. Magazines, on the other hand, as I had said already, recover part of their costs from the pricing of the magazine also, and from some advertisements. I have already told you of the two sections of an editorial department, so we shall now look at page 1. If, as a learner who wants to go and specialize in newspapers, in editing newspapers, you look at page 1, you will see that various newspapers give importance to different items. The same event may have occurred, but one newspaper may like to give importance to the local reactions, one may like to give importance to international reactions, one may like to give importance to the reactions of various politicians and so on. And therefore page 1 is virtually the cover or the showpiece of the newspaper. It carries the banner headlines, and this is something that does not give credits very easily, unless of course you're a very important reporter. The local section is where you can find an opening. What is the local section? The local section may be a wall has collapsed, maybe there has been a traffic jam, maybe there has been some kind of a squall in the city, some kind of crime which has made the local people very apprehensive, the resident welfare associations apprehensive. Maybe there's something of local interest, there's an event, a cultural event that is going on, an exhibition. Maybe there's going to be a traffic jam in the city today because there's some kind of a parade, some kind of a demonstration. And if you think that you can cover local sections, you might like to try your hand at looking after the local sections. Now coming to the national section. A newspaper would obviously cover the national section. Similarly, irrespective of which issue it is, depending on which city to city, the local sections may differ, but the national section would carry mostly the same news. Apart from the national section, of course, then there is the foreign section. For example, the Times of India has an entirely separate international section, and that newspaper can be read that way. If there are two members of a family, it's very convenient for one who wants to read the local section to take those pages, and one who wants to read the foreign section to take those pages. Now it's very interesting that the newspapers in India cover a lot of foreign news in their foreign sections, but in the West, India is not covered that much. Now why is that so? It is not just because India is a poor country. It is because events in the West impact India more than events in India impact the West. Therefore, Indian newspapers carry a lot of information in the foreign section. Now, at this point, I would like to pause and say that it is not necessary that every newspaper has all these sections. If a newspaper has an international presence, or if a newspaper has a national presence, it would like to carry something that is of interest to every reader. But if there is a newspaper which is a regional language newspaper, then obviously it would not carry a lot of international news. It would carry a little bit of it, but it would carry more regional news, because that is what the reader of that area would be interested in. Then apart from the local section, newspapers often carry various other pullouts. Now, what are the pullouts? As I had earlier referred to also, they may be just the matrimonial pages, they may be the classified advertisements, they may be the property pages, and so on, or there might be subject specific pullouts. For example, certain newspapers have something called Ascent, which means that they are advertisements for jobs, job openings, or it may on another day it may have an Education Times. So on that day, you know that on Wednesday the Education Times, or on Monday the Ascent, or whatever, it differs from newspaper to newspaper, these will come out, and all these are in a pattern so that the reader knows what to look for. The reader does not like to change his or her newspaper from day to day. Now, coming to editing magazines, as I had said already, there is a big difference between editing newspapers and editing magazines. In newspapers, you cannot afford to wait. You cannot let excellent be the enemy of good. You have to produce it in time. You have to see that it is good, it is grammatically correct, there is no libel involved, it is accurate, and you do not have time to go into in-depth analysis of any event that has taken place in a newspaper. Whereas a magazine reader, even if it is a news magazine, he already knows what the news is, he or she already knows what the news is, and this reader would be looking out for in-depth analyses, for photographs. Magazines are more subjective. There's a point of view, there's a story to it. For example, if today's newspaper carries the marks of the CBSE results, a magazine that comes out over the weekend would carry an analysis of patterns, of who has done well, of some kind of human interest stories, how somebody has struggled against a variety of odds. And if you are looking out for a job in a magazine, then you would need to do some research, and this applies equally for newspapers as well. Now, coming to another difference between magazines and newspapers, like I said, a newspaper has to be good, but a magazine has to be excellent, which does not mean that the newspaper editor should not strive to be excellent. It just means that he has less time at his disposal. In your course materials, we have said that if it is worth writing, it is worth editing. And if it is worth editing, then it is worth revision. Unfortunately, Murphy, a sociologist, has said that if anything can go wrong, it will. So, always the editors, the editorial team, irrespective of magazines and newspapers, have to be very cautious about the correctness of the information they are giving. Now, how is it that they can get information all the time? For example, a newspaper is put together finally at night. This means that in a newspaper or in a magazine, there must be reference material. There must be a good library, and we have suggested that a journalist who has been trained in library science could maintain the library of today, so that he or she knows where to access material, where material is available in encyclopedias, in dictionaries, in thesauruses, on the internet, and how to access it. So that means that the editor, the chief sub-editor, they all have to be aware what is there in their reference libraries, and that the reference library is well stocked, so that the reporters and the editors do not go rushing from library to library to check on the facts and figures. Now, apart from this editing, which is language editing and grammar editing, which I have been talking about, and you will read more about it in your course material, you have to visualize. You have to know where to find what, which is what I had been saying, that a newspaper or a magazine reader wants to know that on page so and so, on page 3 I will find the contents. In the Reader's Digest I will know that the contents are on the cover. On another magazine, India Today for example, the contents pages may be inside, and the reader wants to go straight to the contents pages, or the reader may want to go to the last page of a magazine, and the reader does not want to experiment too much, whether it is a newspaper or whether it is magazine. And therefore you will see naturally from this flows that the editor, the sub-editor of a magazine or of a newspaper has to specialize. He has to know where to get material, and he has to see what is it that the reader wants. Now that means that he has to visualize what is of interest to the reader. How does he visualize what is of interest to the reader? There are various surveys carried out. What do the readers want? Nowadays there are SMS polls, there are polls in newspapers, there are polls in magazines, there are polls on the television, asking readers what they would like to see, what they would like to read. And then apart from that, then they have to also visualize by themselves what is it that the reader would like to know, because it is not necessary that always they have reader surveys at their fingertips. Writing for magazines is less of a stressful job in the sense that you have more time at your disposal. You can refer, you can go back to experts, you can check, you can cross-check. But always, if you're writing for a newspaper, your facts and figures have to be correct. But if you're writing for a magazine, you have to have a little extra something. What do I mean by little extra something? A bit of human element, a photograph that somebody has not carried, another twist to the story, an interpretation of an event that nobody else has done. And all these eventually get back to finances. You have to be funded, and you have to worry about where to get your finances from, whether you are editing a newspaper or whether you are editing a magazine. Now, before we come to the end, let us briefly go through the materials proper. In the beginning, I had told you that we shall be talking about editing newspapers and editing magazines. So first I told you that newspapers can be of various types and magazines can be of various types. Magazines can be of human interest, magazines can be specialized, they can be journals, or they can be differ from region to region. The same thing goes for newspapers as well. Then I had said that newspapers and magazines differ in terms of their periodicity. What do I mean by periodicity? I had said periodicity means the frequency with which they come out. I had said that the newspaper comes out every day, and that's why I had said that I will call it a daily for the sake of convenience, and a magazine may come out weekly, fortnightly or monthly or sporadically depending on the finances and the interest of the editor or the publisher. Then I had said because the periodicity and the funding of a magazine and a newspaper are different, a newspaper, as I had told you already, does not depend on its revenue generated from the sale or the pricing of the newspaper, but from the advertisements that it carries, whereas a magazine is priced higher, maybe 5 times as much as a newspaper costs, or even more. This is because the magazine tries to recover its costs from the sale price of the magazine rather than from the distribution alone. Then I had said that since newspapers and magazines differ, it is possible that some magazines may be news magazines and some newspapers may have magazines which they carry in their weekend sections, and therefore if you are looking out for an opening, it is always possible for you to specialize in any area, and you may get a job in a newspaper or you may get a job in a magazine. Further, in a newspaper, I had said that because you are working with a number of departments, the revenue department, the administration, the circulation, the distribution, the editorial department too has to be aware of what are the responsibilities of the various departments. For example, I may want to edit a newspaper, the item I am covering, till 11 o'clock at night, but I have to also know that it has to go to press, it has to be composed, and there is another department waiting so that I finish my work, and therefore I cannot afford to be unaware of the responsibilities of other departments. And I had said that the distribution of a newspaper is as important, because if the newspaper does not come out in time, then it might as well not come out. Sometimes newspapers have to be carried to the neighboring cities by taxi or by bus or by plane or whatever, and depending on the mode of transport, the newspaper may carry news till about 12 o'clock at night. For example, if there's a cricket match taking place in Trinidad today, it doesn't end by 12 o'clock midnight, then the newspaper cannot carry it if it has to be sent by taxi at 2 a.m. to a neighboring city, and we just have to hope that they can cover the progress of the match up to that point. Then at this point I had said that fortunately for magazine editors can go in for analysis, they can give statistics, they can say how many times India had one dayers. For example, 17 times in a row India had one day matches. A newspaper can do it, but since it does not know what is the result at the time of the newspaper going to bed, it cannot give these kind of analyses, and by the time it has the next edition, which means it comes out the next day, it is stale news. All the newspaper channels and the news channels on TV have already covered them. Magazines, of course, are more lucky in this sense. They have the time to go for expert opinions, interviews, photographs, and therefore if you would like to specialize in magazine editing, then you may go ahead and build up your expertise. Build up your expertise by reading more and more magazines, by going to reference sections, by polishing up your English, by writing. I had said that it is possible for you to begin by writing letters to editors. These are carried. You may not get very much payment for it, but then you can get a hand at being visible, and if you write frequently enough on a variety of issues, then you may very well be approached to give up. If you, for example, you are a specialist on West Asia affairs and you have written frequently enough, then you may not be a regular employee of a newspaper, but you may be kept as a stringer, and as and when an event in which you have specialized in occurs, you are asked to write for it. This is what I had meant by saying that the newspapers keep stringers apart from their regular employees, and these stringers are reimbursed on the basis of the expenses that they have incurred. In the next transmission that we have, I shall be talking to you about magazines, how they are brought out, and how you can work towards bringing out a magazine of your own, and something about self-publishing. Till that time, all the best for your examinations. Thank you and goodbye.